Sir, would you please give us your full name and DOC number?
Christopher Racadio, 611037.
Mr. Racadio, this is a revocation hearing. I'd like to explain our procedure to you today. I'm going to cover your parole revocation questionnaire. Then I'm going to read the allegations of how it's alleged that you violated your parole. Then we're going to have a full discussion. I'm going to ask you, if you would please, to plead guilty, not guilty, guilty with the statement, or not guilty with the statement. And then we'll hear anyone who has any input referencing this matter. You have present with you today your attorney, Mr. Leo Collier, and your father, Mr. Bernardo Racadio.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll have a full discussion, and then you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say before the board. You understand our procedure, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you have with you your parole revocation questionnaire?
Yes, sir.
Let's go over that just for a second. Is that your signature down at the bottom, dated February the 9th of 2023?
Yes, sir.
Are all of the answers that you gave on that date still accurate and correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have an attorney. Is your attorney retained or appointed to represent you?
Yeah, he's here. He's supposed to be on the Zoom meeting.
All right. So you're ready to proceed forward?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Collier, are you present, and would you would make an appearance for the record, please?
Yes, sir. Leo Collier III, appearing via Zoom with and on behalf of Mr. Christopher Racadio, who is in the Jefferson Parish Correctional Center.
Thank you, Mr. Collier. We're going to go over his parole revocation. Now I'm going to go ahead and go through his rule violations. I'm going to read the allegations. And Mr. Collier, if you wish to advise him how to plead, or if you've already discussed that, I'll just get the plea from him once I read the allegations.
Sir.
On January the 6th of 2023, you were arrested by Jefferson Parish for domestic abuse, child endangerment. Is that true, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On March 15th of 2023, the charges of domestic abuse, child endangerment, child under 13 present were null pros. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the allegations of domestic abuse, child endangerment?
I'm not guilty.
Your case has been assigned to Mr. Alvin Roche. Would you please answer any questions he might have?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Racadio.
Good morning.
Nice seeing you again.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freeman and I were on your first panel when we continued the proceedings to get some evidence, and we do have the videotapes now. And I did see where you and Ms. Lee had an altercation, and I saw the parked car, and I think Ms. Lee came up to your truck. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And y'all saw had a verbal confrontation and then slapped hands at each other, but no actual blows. So I saw that video. And basically, you do have a domestic abuse problem, an anger problem. Will you admit to that?
No, sir. I don't have a domestic abuse problem.
Okay, so what was the confrontation all about?
So the day before that, a month before that, me and my girlfriend broke up. So I moved to my house, and she just wasn't taking the breakup. Like, she didn't want me to break up with her, so she started harassing me.
I heard that last time.
Yeah. So the day before the altercation, I filed a restraining order. And the next day, I guess she found out there was a restraining order, so she harassed me in front of my house and was punching on me. So I called the cops. Right after she punched on me, I called the cops. The cops came by to the house, arrested her, and told her that she cannot come by me, text me, or call me. So that was the last day I saw her. Then 6 days later, on the 21st, out of the blue, she just calls the police and falsify a police report saying I came to her house. And that's how I got arrested.
Sir, what was the altercation at the truck for?
That's because I got broke up with her and she just wasn't taking it lightly. That was the only reason why she was coming by, because I broke up with her and I didn't want to be with her.
But you said she came to your house.
Yes, sir.
Were you parked in front of your house in the truck?
I was parked. Yes, sir. I pulled up to the driveway and she was following me. She was following me to my house. When I pulled up to my driveway, she got out of her car. And when I opened my door, she started punching on me. And that's when I had to call the police because she won't leave me alone. And I already filed a restraining order on her to leave me alone.
And she was arrested.
And she was arrested. And then 6 days later, which is the 21st, I believe, she files a police report on that day saying I came to her house, which is not true.
Which you did.
Which is not true. I did not come to her house. I would not, that's the last thing I would do. I'm terrified from this train lead. I'm trying to keep her away from me. I put a restraining order. I called the police on her. I'm just trying to keep her away from me. And now that I filed a restraining order and called the police on her, she's trying to ruin my life because she knows I'm on parole. That's the reason why she called the police 6 days later after the altercation. That's the only reason I'm in jail right now is because of a parole hold. I don't even have any charges on me. Been sitting in jail for 6 months with no charges. I'm just sitting here.
Okay, Mr. Racadio, I would like to instruct you just to keep your comments directed at the questions that are being asked, okay?
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Kaye. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kaye,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I want to thank you for your comments because that's what I want to tell your client. Just answer the questions. Mr. Racadio,
Yes, sir.
after watching the videos, I tend to believe you because she was definitely aggressive and she was all in your face. But next time, if it happens next time, just get in your truck and drive away.
Thank you. Mr. Bernardo Racadio. Racadio, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir.
Would you please introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like us to know about your son?
My name is Bernardo Racadio, Christopher's father. Here today, I mean, I said what I needed to say during the first Zoom meeting. I think all that was recorded. I'm here today just for moral support.
Thank you. Mr. Christopher Racadio. Mr. Racadio, where are you working at, sir?
I was working at a plant in a Belichase.
You still have that job if you get out?
Yeah, I can still get it when I get out. I have to talk to my employer, you know, but I'm pretty sure I can still get it.
How long have you been in jail now?
6 months.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to say before we turn it over to Mr. Kaye?
No, sir. That should be it.
Thank you. Mr. Kaye?
Yes, sir. I would appreciate the time the board's given me to speak on behalf of my client, first of all. I know that the decision to revoke or not to revoke someone is not one to be taken lightly at all. I also know that, you know, as an attorney, it's my job to say things that are only beneficial to my client and to help my client's position, and everyone understands that. However, in this case, I really empathize and sympathize for my client because I had an opportunity to meet with him to discuss the allegations against him. And, you know, from my standpoint, it's not very often that everything that the client tells me lines up with the evidence that's presented to me. You know, there's always some shade of gray somewhere in there. And in this particular case, Mr. Racadio was adamant that the person that was the alleged victim was actually the aggressor in the case, and that he was taking every action within his power to not have contact with her, to separate himself from the situation, and she was still aggressively pursuing him. And you know, through the course of the investigation with the Jefferson Parish District Attorney's Office, Mr. Racadio was compliant in the case against him, and also in the case where he was the victim. And in light of all of the information that came to light, and it sounds like the board already has all of the same discoverable information. The video is showing Miss Lee's behavior towards my client, and the fact that my client had just secured a lawful restraining order against Miss Lee. He was, he's doing everything within his power, within the law, to protect himself and to protect Miss Lee, in my opinion, because it's obvious through the video. I think like Mr. Roche, is it? I think Mr. Roche was asking his questions. It's obvious in the video that these two individuals do not need to be in a situation where they're communicating with each other at all. And I think that's what Mr. Racadio was trying to accomplish with his attempt to get a restraining order. And I'm confident that moving forward, he's gonna take every action possible to remove himself from that situation with Ms. Lee. And he's had 6 months now to think about all the things he can do to prevent himself from getting in this situation with anyone else in the future. So I would just ask the board to consider that in this particular case, based on these set of facts and circumstances, consider that my client's parole should not be revoked. And I thank you once again for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Kaye. Well done. Well said. Thank you. Is the board ready to vote?
Yes,
Mr. Roche?
Mr. Racadio, your father was exactly right last time. We didn't have all the evidence. We had the evidence against you, but we did not have any evidence of the fact that Ms. Lee was arrested. We have all the evidence. We have multiple videos showing that he was aggressive. And based on that information that I now have, I find you not guilty.
Thank you, sir.
And I vote do not revoke, but I'm gonna add a condition to your supervision. No contact with Ms. Lee. Basically, I know you already have an order, but I'm gonna make that a condition of your parole. That whatsoever with Ms. Lee. Good luck.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Freeman?
Mr. Cadio, I concur with Mr. Roche. Make sure that restraining order is still active. Quite frankly, you did everything right, and you're still in months. That's just a glitch in the system that we can do nothing about. So I vote to not revoke.
Okay, thank you.
Freeman. Mr. Racadio, I listened very closely to what Mr. Kaye had to say. Having been a lawyer for 50 years, it's not often that a client will line up with all of the facts as you did. It certainly appears, as Mr. Freeman suggested, that you did everything you were supposed to do. I question your judgment about being in that relationship from the very beginning, perhaps. But one thing I will say to you, and I'm sure you realize this, you're on parole. And that makes you vulnerable to people like Ms. Lee to take advantage of those situations. So you have had an opportunity to sit in jail for 6 months, and I hope you've taken advantage of that to think about what you might have done differently. I'm not sure what you could have done differently, but I hope in the future you guard against those kinds of things, at least while you're currently on parole, because you're going to have that cloud over your head. You've got an issue while you're on parole, you're going to be suspect. So be very careful. My vote likewise is to not revoke, and hoping we release you as soon as we can so you can get back to your job. Good luck to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks.
Kaye, it was a pleasure listening to you, and you did an excellent presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Likewise. Take care, guys. Thank you.